This that rich genius effect.
I already know.
Yeah, this that rich genius effect.
Favorite podcaster
Yeah.
slash rapper and your favorite producer. So
Yeah, this your man Rich Notch, one half of the Rich Genius Show. And today we got a special guest in the building with us for the Rich Genius Show. We got Stix Bones. Welcome. Super dope drummer and musician. For those who don't know, you're gonna know now by the end of this episode. Y'all gonna understand what I'm talking about. But thank you for coming out, brother.
No doubt.
Yeah, so drumming.
Yes, sir.
How long have you been a drummer? How long have you been doing this?
I've been drumming all my life, but I didn't get good at it until I went to college. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a youth, mom took me to church. That's where they were. And then my older brother, he had a band that he would just vibe out with his team, and he always had drums in the crib. So whenever he went to work, I would try to play on his drums, but I wasn't that good. I didn't get good at it until I went to college. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by didn't get good at it, meaning when I tried to play before the college years, I was always kicked off.
Oh, wow.
So it's that serious. Like, I did not get good at it until I went to college.
So college, did that make you, like, how did it make you better? College?
So college let me know how much I didn't know about music. Because when I went to college, the professor said, read this. And he put the notes in front of me. And I was like, Concerto number 1. And he said, how did you get into school? Because if I would have auditioned you, I would have never accepted you. Now, mind you, I'm the only black kid in the whole room of 20 kids. And this white man is telling me, how did you get here?
Wow.
Grace of God. It was meant for me to be there. I got there through another audition with another professor, and he accepted me. But when I got into the percussion of the college, I couldn't read, and I couldn't play what they wanted me to play.
Oh, what college was this?
This was Purchase College, SUNY Purchase.
Where's that?
So Purchase College is right next to White Plains.
Okay.
You know, like in Westchester County.
Okay.
But White Plains is the main portion when you go up to Westchester. Like it's about 20 minutes north of Mount Vernon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I got you.
Right up the Hutchinson Parkway.
Kind of remind me of the movie Drumline a little bit. Nick Cannon's character, he didn't know how to read the music, but he knew he got busy.
Exactly. Exactly. So you had a God-given gift, but you didn't know how to, you don't know what to do with this talent, and you think because you're in your community, you're good, but when you get amongst good musicians, you're like,
it's a whole different story,
bro. You ain't. So my college, I had to meet 3 white kids at 7 in the morning before class at 9 to learn how to play. And with that, I still flunked every class in my first semester.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I flunked every class. And I'm the first one to go to college. So it was like a lot. It wasn't like
pressure.
Yeah, like you don't want to say it was a lot of pressure because I didn't really think of it in that light. But when I think about it now, it's like, yo, you're the first to go to college. Like out of the kids, I had an older cousin who went to University of Albany, and she's the one that actually helped me get into Purchase College. But like I'm the first of the guys of the male cousins to go to college.
In your family, okay.
And not knowing how much this was really right. Like they were all rooting for me on this one. And I failed everything. Theory, solfege, I failed everything. And then what saved me was the professor was like, we're starting a jazz program. Because remember in school, I was into orchestra. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have a drum set. They put me in front of timpanis, in front of marimbas and all this other stuff. And you have to use mallets and all of that. And I was like, they don't have this in church.
Yeah.
Where's the drum set at?
Yeah.
And so I brought my own drum set, had my own practice room, and I would practice the drums, but that wasn't what was the requirement. And that's the thing that we get mixed up in. We think that what we know is what's going to get us by, but is that what's required of you? You know what I'm saying? That's the thing we don't ask enough. So that wasn't what was required. When they started the jazz program, the dean was like, you will be a part of the jazz program. And I was like, yeah, but he's like, you will be a part of the jazz program if you want to stay here. And then that January, I was the first black kid in the jazz program at Purchase College.
Wow, that's big, yo. So you never got discouraged? You never was deterred, or because
Yeah, I didn't
it
know.
seems
what
a
that
little
was.
scary. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like being in a new school, not knowing how to read the notes, the professor saying what he said.
Yeah.
Then a bunch of white kids, you only black kid. That just seems like a little.
Yeah,
seems
it was the only thing that was scary was the idea of failing to the point where you can't stay in school anymore. I've never experienced that because in high school, in junior high school, I made it work. You know, you need to study a little more to turn this 65 into an 80. I study a little bit more. But like flunking out of school, that was never. And we come from the school of hard knocks, so it wasn't, failure was not, when I failed every class, that was a wake-up call for me. But then it wasn't an option for me either. You know what I'm saying? So because I had this second chance, I knew with that second chance, this has to work. And grace to be to God, it worked miraculously, to my favor.
Yeah.
To fast forward my freshman year, I flunked with honors, but on graduation day, I had a show at the Jacob Javits Center in front of 5,000 people for Black Expo.
Oh, wow.
Graduation day.
Shit, that's big.
You know what I mean?
That's big. Nah, that's
When
big.
you don't give up.
That's big.
When you don't give up,
Wow.
it turn around for you.
Nah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you was treated different? Like, was they a little harder? Because you know how some white people could be. I'm not saying all of them, but you know what it is. Like, you being the only person of color that was there, do you feel they treated you different?
Well, interesting enough, I was the only black drummer, but I wasn't the only black student.
Okay.
Right? So we had a black trumpet player, a black piano player, but we were the first of this class. And because a lot of kids came from the inner city.
Okay.
So in college, you do meet people from across the country, but there was enough kids from the city to where, you just had your little community and you joined with them. So it wasn't like Higher Learning, the movie Higher Learning, where you had to face that type of stuff. But it was that thing where we kind of fed off of each other's energy and supported each other and collaborated with each other and supported each other to the point where our community was really, really strong. And then we're not far from the city. So on the weekends, you just go back to the hood and, hang out with the family and then you go back up. So you really don't, it's not like you were secluded from where you came from and this is what you had to deal with.
Okay.
That mentality. And a lot of that mentality with the kids, where we was mentally back then, we were not in that oppressed time when, this was the superior race type of thing.
Yeah.
When I got into school, one of the kids from the movie Juice was just accepted as an actor. The one who played Ronimus, Vincent Loresca.
Ronimus, okay.
He was just coming in the same year I came in.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Juice had just dropped. And we was like, oh snap, that's the kid from the movie Juice. You know what I mean? So he was in the film and arts program. So kids was around. I was just happened to be the first. When you got into the purpose of you was being there. So he was in film. We had some dancers there. When it came down to doing music, I was just in that crew of kids where most of our black kids was in other majors. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how it was laid out.
Okay. Nice. Interesting.
Yeah.
So before you went to college, were you the type to I know some people, even if they don't know how to read music, they can hear something and play it off of just hearing it.
Yeah.
I know my grandmother, she's good at that. She can still do that to this day. Like she doesn't know how to read music.
Right.
But if she hears something, she listens, she get on the piano, she could mimic, which is crazy to me. Was you able to do that?
Yo, that's a God-given gift.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I was able to listen because all we had was the radio, right? And like you said, I didn't have drums at my every day to do. So my drum set was imagined with 2 number 2 pencils. I played for everybody. I played for Prince. I played for Michael Jackson. I played for Lionel Richie because I'm listening to the song on the radio and I had 2 pencils and I'm just doing this in my room.
Yeah.
So I'm emulating what I heard on the radio. And my pops, he did give me some music lessons. When I went to the music teacher, the first thing he did in my first music lesson was play everything you hear on this small box. And he walked out the room. He left me in the room with the radio. He was like, play everything you hear on this box. And that developed my ear training.
Wow. You was destined for this. You was destined for this. You know what I mean? This is what you was meant to do in life.
Yeah.
So you found your talent, your skill, your love, your passion. You found it early. Some people never find it.
Right.
Because I truthfully feel, I don't want to say everybody, but I think everybody has something they're good at, but some people just never get to find out what it is in life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to be a mechanic. I wanted to be a bus driver for Greyhound because my pops was a bus driver. I wanted to, do other things, but this was a thing that made me, I didn't think about it. I didn't have to wear it. It's just something I enjoy doing. And it was around me in two different ways. It was around me from my older brother and his friends doing their R&B thing, and it was around me from my cousins doing the DJ thing. So whether I was with them, each group, and they're all older than me, it was just pouring on me, just hanging around, because they always let me hang around.
I was gonna ask that, like anybody else in your family's into music, so you had other music elements in your family. That's dope.
Yeah. My brother and his crew, they wrote songs for Jesse D of the Force MDs. Yeah, so that's when, like, his pen, he was a songwriter, he was into that. My pops loved James Brown, took him to Apollo to see James Brown live.
My pops
he
too.
caught the bug like that.
That was my pop's guy. James Brown, that was his guy all day, every day. That was his number one. My pops loved James Brown. Like, I was raised on James Brown. I had no choice. I had no choice, for real. That's what's up, though.
So for all of y'all who want to get influenced, James Brown, number one dude sample. You know what I mean? Like, salute. And then when I was with my cousins, I sat amongst them, and I guess I'd have to give him the credit, man. DJ Scratch, is the older guy. I sat with him for hours as he practiced his routines, as he practiced.
DJ Scratch, that's your fan?
DJ Scratch.
Oh wow,
yeah.
DJ,
Sat with him and just watched him do his thing in his room. And I was never trying to touch the records. I just saw what he did with the records, how he used to beat juggle the beats and the drums, and I was like, wow. So
he's a slept-on producer, I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, people know that, they know, but I think he's underrated. Because when they talk about dope producers, what he did for some of the Redman joints, for some of the fire,
some of the EPMD joints.
Yeah, EPMD,
yeah. It wasn't really credited for, that whole, he really, I saw that man go through the highs and the lows when it came down to music. And the one thing I didn't see him do was quit. If you close the door this one, he made a way to go through another door. And that was one thing. When I got to college, he supported me, along with my brothers and them. He came up and he said, how do you entertain an entertainer? And walked out the room. It's like, how you gonna leave me with that, bro? But he's the one. So I was really raised by him musically with DJs. Like, my thought process, my performance came from his expertise. Whereas just the skill to do it came from my brother's expertise. But yeah, his hanging around him, that was a whole nother kung fu.
I saw him perform live.
That was a whole nother kung fu.
He's a beast.
Yeah.
He's a beast. I saw him get busy on the turntables.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow, like DJ skills and producer making beats. He do his thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In all right, we'll get to that. In 2024, I believe, because you got the whole band, which I want the people to know, it's Stix Bones, but then you got the Bone Squad.
Right.
That's the whole band. And I advise any one of y'all out there, if you ever see them on a flyer, they're gonna be performing anywhere, go. Because I can't wait to see y'all live.
Thank you.
But with what I saw in the videos, I was like, they get busy. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because when I first got put onto live band, I never knew how much I would actually enjoy it. This was years ago. I forgot where I went, but it was a live band and they was doing like old Motown stuff.
Yeah.
So like I said, I was raised on that because my parents, I had no choice. My aunts and uncles and everything, I was wild young. But listening to like them songs, like live band, like play them same songs.
Yes.
It was different. It blew my mind.
Yes.
Like, then after that, anything I went to that was live band, like I was on board because it just hits different.
Yes.
If the band is dope, it hits different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't something I was thinking to do. Bone is actually an acronym. So the letter B, I consider the men that I work with as my brothers. I love them as my biological brother. We're all outstanding, so we're outstanding musicians, we're outstanding husbands, we're outstanding fathers, we're outstanding sons. Our character, we didn't want to be, you know, it's your talent that meet them, but it's your attitude that keep them. So we keep a noble attitude. That's the letter N. On the top of being brothers, outstanding, noble, we operate in excellence, right? So that's Bone, that was my acronym. And then S was the squad. S stood for squad. So it Stix Bones, right? Squad. But when I was mentored by, later in the years, I had connected with, rest in peace, Khryst Lighty's younger brother, Mike Lighty. And it was that time when it was like, I was trying to really I had graduated Purchase at this time, and I was really trying to make a name myself as a drummer. And Violator Records had connected me with a gentleman by the name of Ray Chu. For those of y'all who don't know Ray Chu at the time, he was the music director for Showtime at the Apollo. Later to go on, he does he coordinates the Thanksgiving Day Parade, and now he is the music director for Dancing with the Stars.
Oh wow!
But at this time, he was the music director for Showtime at the Apollo, and I would go to the Apollo every Wednesday to sit under him. And he was like, Stix, you got to get out of hip hop. I was like, what are you talking about, man? Everybody loves me in hip hop. He's like, sooner or later, the label is going to run out of budget, and you got to sustain yourself. If you want to make this to be a career, you need to start writing. And I was like, man, like he just dropped this on me. I called Scratch and told him I wanted to start writing. Scratch did one of the biggest things. He came with an MPC. And he was like, yo, hold this and start writing. And I started making my beats on the MPC. My brother gave me the drum set. So now I had the best of both worlds. I had the drums and I had the MPC. And the drum set helped me play, but this helped me record what I was playing. Because then I knew what the beat sounded like. Once I put it in the MPC, I was able to hold that and then learn how to play on top of it. Now I got the college knowledge, so now I know chords. Now I know how to do melodies and harmonies and stuff like that. I didn't want to do it with rappers, so I would call musicians to be on top of my records instead of calling rappers. And that's how I started to grow as an artist. And it was like, you have to sustain. I started walking in that direction that Ray Chu gave me. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of, for you artists today, man, y'all may laugh at OGs, but OGs will set you on a path. And I need y'all to walk on that path, not because you know the way, but by faith. You trust that they're telling you something that's going to sustain you. Ray Chu was one of the ones at that time that sustained me. Another one was Abi Odun of The Last Poets. My career started out with poets when I first graduated college, and they was the ones who helped me develop my name. They were the ones who was like, yo, I used to just go by Stix. They was like, you can't just go by Stix. I was like, why not? They was like, because what's stopping the next man from calling himself Stix? And it was actually the jazz group, the Crusaders. They had a drummer named Stix. Last name was Hooper. So they was like, yo, you need a first and last name. And I was like, man. And that's how they educated me, and Abi Odun and them. So I came up with Stix as my first name, Bones as my last name. And ran with that. And peaked that with the knowledge that Ray Chu was put the path that Ray Chu put me on. So now I'm writing songs. Who wrote it? Stix Bones. Hanging out with Scratch, he was like, yo, you have a band, you gotta have a name like Kool and the Gang. Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
That's dope. Bone Squad's a dope name.
You know what I'm saying?
Dope name. Yeah.
And at the time, it was these were the nuggets that these mentors was giving me and shaping me and molding me, because who knew that I would need to use that to sustain myself in a career today.
So do you feel you've been blessed to run across mentors like that actually had your best interests at hand? Because some of these OGs, what they call gatekeepers, they don't even want to give the next man the time of day to shine. because either they still want to shine, or they just disgruntled where, you know what I mean? But it seems like you've been actually blessed to come across some good individuals that looked out.
The funny thing is, the blessing didn't come from musicians. No drummer came to me and said, this is what you do. These were people outside that I wasn't a threat to. You know what I'm saying? When you spoke about the gatekeepers is the ones that's trying to protect what they got, or keep what they got, and not trying to share it and pass it on to you. You know, growing up in church, I know a lot of musicians, but none of them treated me the way they did. You know what I'm saying? They was trying to compete with me, and I'm like, why? There's enough for everybody to eat. Why are you trying to compete with me? I'm just trying to get my skills up. I'm telling you, man, it wasn't always, I'm not going to say and tell you that my story was great, because the musicians is the ones that kicked me off the drums when I wanted to play. If I focused on them, I probably would have been the bus driver. But when I was placed in the presence of Ray Chew, Scratch, my brother Anthony, they was the ones like, yo, man, here's your tools. What you gonna do? What you gonna build? And that right there is what kept me going. You know? So I say that to anybody. It's easy when they say, yo, don't give up on your dream, or, you can make it if you put your mind to it. Focus on who's giving you the tools. Because if you give me a car with no keys, guess what ain't gonna happen? I ain't gonna drive.
You're gonna sit right there, yeah? That's a good analogy.
I'm still getting on the bus.
Yeah. That's a good analogy. Word. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. So yeah, that's dope, man. In 2024, y'all performed on Good Day New York.
Yes.
Which is a big show out here in New York. Fox 5 always watch it. What's her name? Rosanna Scotto and Kirk
Menefee.
Kirk Menefee, yeah. So I got to look at that. Like, what was that like?
That was, you know how you always feel like, man, this is the biggest stage. Man, this is the biggest stage. Like, that to me, even though it wasn't stage, was one of the biggest stages.
Yeah, it's big.
And it was, they were welcoming, they were inviting, but it was all timing. Because that was right after the Summer Olympics. And at the time, I had just did an album with Olympic champion Bob Beamon, who, if you guys don't know who Bob Beamon is, he still holds the world record. Well, it's 2 records. One of them was broken, but he holds the Olympic record for the long jump. And the next Olympics, I believe, will make 60 years. No one has broken, right? For the Olympic champion. So my bass player, Big Al, they're related, they're cousins. And he was like, yo, would you, it was always his dream to do something with a band. So I was like, yo, come on, it's family. You know what I mean? Why not? So we collaborated on a project, and off of the Olympics, it was one of those things where the news was like, yo, wow, we haven't seen this man in this way. We're interested in finding out. We want to broadcast it to the world. So it just happened to be that, one, Stix and the Bone Squad is a talented band based out of New York. But then you guys have an Olympic champion rocking with y'all. How did that happen? You know what I'm saying? So this was like newsworthy that they found interesting, and we went up there and we did what we had to do. And they was just blown away because they had no clue. All across the board, we superseded their expectations. And the only thing I was really adamant was like, yo, we here. It's just that whatever the medium is, like you said, gatekeepers is trying to let y'all know, like, if you're not popular enough, you can't meet this. But they didn't care about popularity. They saw the talent and they wanted to give us that light. So salute to them.
Yeah, so definitely salute to them. That's the people that I like to run across. You know what I mean? I've been a little fortunate too so far, right across with people like that where they didn't have to give me the opportunity. They've been on bigger platforms, far as podcasts, and they knew I was up and coming, but they still took the time out and came and sat down with me and chopped it up, and they didn't have to do it. Because one of them told me, salute to Evil D. Yeah. He said, it ain't about the numbers, and it ain't about, like, if it's good, I'm going to come up and show love. Because he said he'd been through all that before, too, where people ain't want to show them love. Right. They was on the way up. Then he said once they got there, them same people now want to collaborate with them, but didn't want to give them a chance. with the Black Moon and everything back in the days. So he gave me a chance, and other brothers gave me a chance that we had on the show. And yeah, that's a beautiful thing when they do that for you. And salute the Fox 5, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How did you form that band, Bone Squad, like the members and everything? You handpicked all of them?
Yeah. Just collaborating. It's funny, man, because there was members when I first started the Bone Squad that I had to move on because of life. If you listen to my earlier records, you'll hear primarily saxophone versus the trumpet. And shout out to Mel Smith, who had to move. He had to relocate to take care of his dad. But he was based here in New York, and we did a lot of shows here, played out a lot of dope joints, and then singers. And whenever I go somewhere, before I actually built the Bone Squad, I was one of those drummers who sat in with other people, or I actually did a show with other people. And when it was time for me to do my thing, you know, when you say I'm gonna put a team together, you think back who are the good people that you worked with. And whenever I did the call, a lot of them say yes. So just over the years, again, life came in the way where some of the brothers really had to go. They don't know they still officially Bone Squad members, but they're just not the ones who can play with me on stage where I'm at right now, because they're on the responsibility of other things. Like my boy, he's in Memphis now. He's one of the directors of the jazz program in Memphis, you know, but we've done gigs here. There was a brother that played the guitar. He's one of the dopest blues cats I've ever met. We used to do Ashford and Simpson's Sugar Bar. John Turco is his name. We used to do Ashford and Simpson's Sugar Bar together when Mr. Ashford was still living. And then, you know, but now he's relocated. So life happens, and you gotta have that brotherhood where you understand, like, yo, I'm not here to hold you hostage, you know, wherever you go, but then those shoes are hard to replace because of the camaraderie. You want the same camaraderie. So just to let you know how I formed the Bone Squad, me and Big Al, we've been rocking together for years here in New York. Maestro, I did a radio, no, we was at Lincoln Center. We did a benefit at Lincoln Center. And I had to play for Harvard. Excuse me. I had to play for Harvard, and they needed a keyboard, so they hired him. And when we locked up, we just connected. It's like, yo, bro, who you working with? He was like, nobody. I was like, I'm gonna come with me. And so he's like, all right, cool, I'm gonna come with you. And then he went to school with Sean, the trumpet player, Sean Taylor. Okay. So it was like whenever Mal left to go to relocate with his family, I was like, yo, you know, I had to bring them with them. I was like, yo, we need to fill in the spot. They recommended his boy Sean. I loved his energy. I loved his camaraderie. And yeah, put him to work. And we've just been rocking ever since. So, but if I had to do a Thundercats hole, they'd be like, yo, Stix, what you need? Let's do it.
Bone Squad for life.
Bone Squad.
They don't know Bone Squad for life.
Yeah.
That's good though, because good energy attracts good energy. So
yeah,
he was able to. Nah, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
And I believe it was 2020. You and the Bone Squad did a video, Bone Squad Playhouse, featuring DV Alias Khryst.
Yeah.
Which, like, all this is on YouTube, by the way, y'all. Y'all can check out the Fox 5 joint. What I'm talking about right now is on YouTube. DV Alias Khryst, dope MC. I'm gonna have him up here.
Another underrated brother.
Yeah, very underrated. Been around for a very long time. Still gets busy till today. Like, he still puts in that work. I heard some new stuff from him. Yeah, he still gets it in. You did a video with him on Bone Squad Playhouse. How was that working with DV Alias?
I mean, me and DV were friends since the Lyricist Lounge days.
Okay.
We're on the same, so back then, that's really where my hip hop had came full circle. Lyricist Lounge, the creators, Danny and Anthony, they wanted to do something. I guess they knew the DJ was the element, but for them, their vision was like, I want to put a band together. And me working with Lyricist Lounge introduced me to DB, Mos Def, Talib, my big brother, Plug 3, Maceo and Paz. That right solidified relationships. So we just always remain friends. And whenever DV, he's just a musical dude. He's not your average boom bap. He can sing, rap. He's just a musical dude. So, and he loved good musicians. So whenever he had a project that he felt he can utilize musicians, he always called me. So that friendship was over the years. You know what I mean? And when we was in a spot where it was like, yo, man, everybody, 2020, that was the pandemic. So it was like, yo, everybody's getting together. We caught up on the phone. I said, yo, man, let's just come to the Playhouse. Let's let them see you do your thing with the band. And he came over with Khadija. That's Khadija in the video.
Okay.
Who sung on Jay-Z's Hook, Ain't No Nigga. Okay. That's Khadija. She also worked with Salt and Pepper too. But he came through and we heard those songs just that day. Whole squad. He sent us we went through it, couple of rehearsal takes, and then we was like, yo, let's do it.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That day?
That day. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. and he just did his thing. Like I knew he would, man. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun because, like I said, he's musical.
Yeah.
You know, he knows how to control and entertain. So it's always a pleasure working with DB. Like you said, he's a master at his craft.
No, he definitely is.
He knows what he's doing on and off the mic. So, yeah.
Bars, singing, he got the hooks, everything. Like he does his thing. I can't wait to hear the new music he coming out with. Recently, the Bone Squad, I performed with another legend, beatbox legend, Rahzel.
Yes.
And then in 2020, y'all y'all collaborated with his son, Rahzel Jr.
Yeah.
So did so with the pops and the son. Like, you know what I mean? Like, salute to Rahzel, you know what I mean? Like, he's a beatbox legend. For those who don't know, you should know. But like, how was that, like, working with the pops and, well, working with the son, then working with the pops?
Rahzel is another mentor. Rahzel was one of the ones, he was when I said earlier in the interview, I was working with poets. He was the beatbox for the poets. And when the Roots launched, the manager, Walter Muda, was like, yo, how do we get somebody to cover when Rahzel has to go out with the Roots? I was right over in Brooklyn at the spot, oh man, I forgot the cafe, like Brooklyn Moon or something like that, where I was the only musician playing for all the poets that night and rappers that night. And the manager's like, you're the one. Because Rahzel held it down for all the MCs and all the poets. And Rahzel had a trip. They set up a trip to go overseas. This is a part of my college story. I'm taking y'all back a little bit. This was my senior year in college, where I had turned around the flunking to now passing. And I was the only kid in that whole music program that went to Europe for 3 weeks during my senior year in college, and they gave me credit because I was performing and that was my major.
Wow.
All expenses paid.
That's a great way to get credit.
All, you know what I'm saying? All
overseas
expenses
trip?
paid.
Wow.
Rahzel was on that tour, and I studied that dude because he was the way his thought process was. He knew how to tour. He knew how to save his voice. He was like, because he saw me carrying drums and stuff like that, his instrument was his voice. So the way he protected his instrument so that whenever he walked on stage, I'm like, how you thinking? Like he was just so far ahead. And to this day, a lot of gems, the hotel talks, I live by most of that to this day. And he became a mentor and a big brother, an OG of mine, right? And whenever his son was born, I related to that. You know, I was like, man, like, you're a father now. And he just did what he had to do. And I just saw Junior grow up to become the dope MC that he is.
His son is nice.
Bars.
He got bars.
Bars.
Definitely.
And so I'm like uncle to his son now. And just because me and Roz got that brotherhood. So all I have to do is pick up the phone with Roz. He's like, what you need, bro? I'm like, what you need, bro?
You got that voice.
Yo, man, I got the show. You want to come and hook up with us? And he's like, yeah, I'm there, man. I'm there. I'm not, I got that day free. I'm there. And just longevity. I guess what I'm saying is, for those of you who are in this game, relationships matter. Don't burn the bridges. If you can savor that relationship, sometimes that relationship has to be you just sitting and listening, so that you don't know everything, right? To maintain that relationship with that person who's trying to educate you with something. Most of my time, how I became brothers with these men is I sat and listened. I sat and listened. I watched, I sat and listened. I watched Maceo. I watched my brother Anthony. I watched Rozelle the whole time we was on the road, and just took it all in like a sponge. And whenever they asked me to do something, I didn't say why. I just went and did it. I just went and did it. And that right there was, they began to protect me because of how genuine I was. So a lot of it is with your talents, with your gifts. You need somebody that is going to open a door for you every now and again, but they're not going to open that door if they can't trust you. If they can't trust that you take what they hold so precious that you're going to take care of it, they're not going to trust you. That is a part of it. I understand you could drop a song today, every week if you wanted to, but without an OG to show you how to market that, guess what you're doing? You're just putting it in somebody else's database. Who's going to hear it? And the object of you wanting to do this is you want people to hear it. But if you're not going to sit and listen to how they did it and get an understanding of what they used, it's going to be a little bit more challenging than it should be. And you need to be able to call them, because you may not need that advice at that moment, but a year from now you might need to know what they did and how they did. And if you don't sever the relationship, how you going to get the information?
That's true. Information can be so valuable.
It's
like
the most
priceless.
thing.
That's
Yeah.
better than, and a lot of these youngins, I hope y'all listening, a lot of these young upcoming artists, they real cocky. They think they got a little following and likes and everything. They think that's all that matters, and they start moving like, listen to what this man's saying. He dropping gems right now, dropping jewels, you know what I mean? Yeah. That's a fact. I love that Piece of Freedom. That joint is dope with The Last Poets. That you did with The Last Poets. That's on YouTube too. Make sure y'all check it out. Yeah. That was just inspiring.
Thank you, man.
Listen to that. That just was.
Thank you.
It just gave a good feeling. You know what I mean? Like a word.
But what does it? I'm gonna ask you a question. I need you to explain it to the audience, your core audience. Explain to them what the price of freedom is. When you heard the price of freedom, what did that say to you?
It spoke to me. It let me know that the price of freedom, I think basically is what you find, like what makes you happy. That's freedom. Not really what society, what's really like in you, what makes you happy, to me, is what real freedom is. Mm-hmm. Like if you don't have that, then you're not really, a lot of people just doing things or moving through life, just following what they think that everybody wants them to follow or what they're gonna follow to be successful or something. That's not really freedom. To me, you're a slave to whatever. That's not freedom. Yeah. I feel freedom doing what I love to do, working with my people, good people. To me, that's freedom. That's real freedom. I could wake up and really know, like, even if I'm not seeing getting paid like that right off that doesn't concern me, because I'm doing what I love. I love what I do. That's freedom. Me and Tall Genius always speak about that.
And that's your price. Your price is, I may not be nominated for a Grammy. I didn't sign a 360 deal. I may not have the large advance that some artists would get because they signed away a certain freedom. You know what I'm saying? I still own my publishing. I still own my rights. That's the price. You know what I'm saying? The people in Chicago may not be bumping me. That might be my price for my happiness and my freedom.
And I'm okay with that.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you're okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
A lot of people don't think. When I approached Abiodun with that, I saw some young people not respect or protect their freedom. They was just wilding out. And I was like, man, do y'all know how much this is costing you? Because, and it's not from a financial standpoint, it's from a time standpoint, because you don't get this time back. Y'all don't get this back.
Talk to them.
Take advantage of this, because what you did last summer is going to be different this summer. So if you can do it now, do it. This is your cost. The cost is the time that you can never get back. He was like, Stix, I got you. And just started writing.
He killed that. Like with the drums, like you playing the drums, he killed that. That joint was so motivational. It felt like it was just motivational. It just felt good. Like spoke like the drums and what he was saying and how he was saying it, like just speaks to your spirit. I advise y'all all to check it out.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's produced in a sense because I wanted to take it back to the 70s era. Because again, Bob Beamon, when he did the jump, and for those again who don't know, if you ever seen an Olympics picture with two brothers just holding their fists up, that's the Olympics, the Mexico '68 games. That's the Olympics that Bob did his thing. So him and Abiel doing his friends, they came up in Jamaica, Queens together.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So just that connection between them. And then in the 90s, I met Abiel doing with the Poets, with Jessica Caramore. She was mentored by him. And whenever he was just welcoming, if you was not willing to take this knowledge, he was welcoming to you. So that right there was just a reunite because I've never recorded with him, but I have been in his sessions. And for those of you who are about your pen, about your bars, get with somebody like them because the last Poets, they influenced the most incredible hip hop artists today. Real talk. Just from their pen. You know what I mean? And with him, it was an honor to work because I didn't want him to be in the 2000s when we did the record. I wanted to take it back whenever they were like really giving a message. So the original has that 70s shaft with the guitar, like you said, with the drums, and that's where I was going with it.
I got that revolutionary Black Panther 70 feel / Africa motherland. Like it got that motherland feel. Like they ready to take ready to go to war. Some tribal type.
Understand the price of your freedom, man.
Black excellence.
Yeah. When civil rights was really thriving because of our freedom was at stake.
Yeah. Nah, it's dope. Wasn't they on the it was one of them joints I really loved by Common. Kanye produced The Corner, right? That was Black Poet.
Yes.
Talking on The Corner.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite. Common. That's when Kanye was still Kanye. The old Kanye.
The one we like.
Yeah. The old Kanye. That's where that beat was fire. To have Black Poets on it. The Corner. Was that on the B album? I think that was on Common B or the Forever album.
Yeah.
B or Forever. No, that was on the B album. Yeah.
Okay.
Love that album. Yeah. Salute the Last Poet. Salute the Last Poets. Okay. In 2016, I just want to get your intake on this. In 2016, Rolling Stone did a list of the top 100 drummers of all time.
Okay.
Now, when they do these type of lists, it's all about opinions anyway. It's nothing they saying is facts, what they feel, but they put them in actual order, like who they feel is the best and everything, the top 100. Right. They do that with rap all the time. A lot of them lists be bogus to me. Like, I don't agree with it. Like, I agree with a lot of times the people they might have on the list, but the order that they put them in, and then some of the people I don't know how they make the list when it comes to rappers, but that's just me. I'll be on my MC, you know what I mean? But as a drummer, I want to know what you think of. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but the top 10, I'm going to top 10 and get to number 1. I just want to hear your thoughts on it. If you know any of these dudes, whatever. I'm pretty sure you do. Stuart Copeland from The Police. They got him at number 10. Number 9, Al Jackson Jr., from Booker T and the MGs. Like I said, you probably know some of these I heard of before. I don't know. Mitch Mitchell, number 8, from Jimi Hendrix Experience, drummer. Number 7, they got Gene Krupa from Benny Goodman. Number 6, they got Clyde Stubblefield. I might be butchering some of these names. Forgive me, y'all. Clyde Stubblefield and John J-Bo Starks, James Brown. They were drummers with James Brown. Number 5, they got Hal, what is it? Boline, the Wrecking Crew. Okay. Number 4, they got Neil Peart from Rush. Number 3, they got Ginger Baker from Cream. Number 2, they got Keith Moon from The Who. And the number 1 drummer they put as the number 1 drummer of all time is John Bonham from Led Zeppelin. Wow. They got him at number 1. I just want to know what's your thoughts on that. This is Rolling Stone. This was their 2016. That was their top 10. They got 100, but this was their top 10 in order, and they got And I looked up, I started, because before this episode, I always do my research, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, he's a drummer, he's been drumming. I like, let me listen to some things I might not have heard before. Some of the names I know already.
Yeah.
Some of the names I never heard of. I wasn't put on to John Bohan from Led Zeppelin. I know about Led Zeppelin and everything, but I like, let me hear some of the stuff. But they got him as #1 of all time.
You know, first you got to look at what his source is, right? It's Rolling Stone.
Mm-hmm.
So their musical catalog consists of something that's not everybody. Because none of those drummers are jazz drummers. Jack DeJohnette, Louis Bellson, Buddy Rich, Billy Cobham, Dave Weckl. If you compared that list to those guys, I'm surprised Phil Collins wasn't in the top. Do-doon.
Yeah, I know Phil Collins.
You know, Phil Collins. Why is Phil Collins not in the top 10? Anyway. So
they had Buddy Rich on the list, but he wasn't in the top 10.
I
think he was probably in the top 20 if I'm not mistaken.
So, you know, whenever you, it depends on what pot you really glorify. If that was a jazz magazine, you would have saw all jazz drummers first, and then these guys. You know what I mean? So, like you said, you can't really harp on it and debate on it because this is their list, that's their magazine, and they getting this data from their sources that cater to their magazine and how they roll with. Rolling Stone is, to me, like a more popular rock and roll based. So Led Zeppelin is a rock and roll guy. It makes sense in that manner.
Yeah.
You know, but then what about the gospel guys? You know, what about the Latin guys? Tito Puente. What about the Latin guys? So, listen, man, I'm going to be honest. The drummers, and then there's so many different skill sets because a Billy Cobham, who was a fusion drummer with a lot of soul, his technique would run circles around Jimi Hendrix drummer because Jimi Hendrix drummer was just rocking. You know, so you can't. God bless their list. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. But for all of y'all who really take this to heart, I just say, look, that's their list. This is their house. Let them have it.
Let them have it.
Let them have it. You know, where you thrive and those that influenced you, those will always be your top ones. You know. And that goes not just for drummers, but any musician, any rapper, any singer, whatever the ones that you was raised on, that's always going to be your top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like hip hop, you know. Should Questlove be on the list? You know, is it based on records? We don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So I got a couple of names I'm gonna throw at you. I just want what comes to your mind when you hear some of these drummers. Ringo Starr from the Beatles.
I respect them. Give me some more, and then I'll sum it up for you.
Sheila E.
I respect her definitely.
Travis Barker from Blink-182.
I respect them.
Questlove, you just mentioned him.
Questlove.
Buddy Rich was, like I said, renowned jazz player. He's one of the greatest jazz drummers. I mean, yeah.
Exactly.
I read up on him, and he was on a different list. Besides Rolling Stone, his name was being mentioned. They always say, like, jazz, he's one of them GOATs when it comes to drumming for jazz. So
yeah. So let me stop there. So the reason why I have to say this, sometimes whenever you're on a team, you get the ring for being on the championship team. So Blink-182 is a band. The other drummer that you mentioned, Ringo Starr is in a band. So that band was famous. Quest was a part of a band. The one I give the credit to is Sheila, because she was an artist who can play a drum, right? She wasn't a part of the band, but because of her artistry, her being able to sing, she's not really known as to be compared as the drummers, but she's a female drummer, you know, which is another addition to the multiple talent that she has. She comes from a great musical family, but when you put that against those who happen to get a record deal and their band was successful, how do you compare that, right? So I was saying I respect it because I respect what got you there. You know, you were good enough to be a part of that band. That band was lucky enough to get a deal, and that deal was good enough for y'all to become superstars across the world. But what about the church drummer? What about the professor at Juilliard who never got into a band, but just as good, tried to? You know what I'm saying? Had a garage band, but didn't get the record deal.
Yeah.
I think about that all the time.
Unsung, people don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who makes people the wedding band drummer.
So who's your personal top 5? Like who would you say? I'm pretty sure there's a lot that you was inspired by, a lot of drummers that you love, but who's your 5? Like when you say that's my guys right there, when you was like, you know what I'm saying? That's who really inspired you.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I wasn't inspired by drummers. I wasn't influenced. And this is gonna sound weird. DJs was my influence. As crazy as that might sound. I'm the drummer I am today thanks to watching DJs. Other than my brother Anthony, who was a drummer, DJs was the ones that really put me where I was. I didn't know about drummers until I got to college. That was part of the education to teach me. I learned about Tony Williams, who was the drummer for Miles Davis. I learned about Elvin Jones, who was the drummer for John Coltrane. Right? I was in the jazz program, so I'm introduced to this first. Then I learned about Frank Zappa's drummer because of the kids that came from a different part of the country, and that was who they listened to. But the DJs is the one that influenced me. The DJs is the one, DJ Scratch, DJ Maceo, DJ Red Alert, DJ Money Mall. These guys, DJ Jazzy Jeff, those guys influenced me to do what I do. I think like them before I think like a drummer. That helped me and that hurt me at the same time. Because when I had to play in a lineup with the drummer, they was like, "Oh man, he doesn't have no chops like we have chops." Because DJs didn't have, the DJ's chops wasn't the same chops as yours. I can't explain that in the lineup, but for some reason, my skills got me on the same stage as you. You're just bugging out because it's like, you don't have the same chops as me. When they would name drummers and names to me, I'm like, I don't know who that is. Real talk. And that was concerning to them, like, how did you get here? I studied the art of music just from another lane, and that got me here. That made me, so my mission is I'm kind of bridging the gap in a certain way from my upbringing, and then I'm using my instrumental skills and fusing that together. What do you mean, Stix? When I heard Maceo play the break beats, when I heard Scratch and Rob Swift play break beats, I was like, I'm going to learn that. I took those break beats, and when I went into the jazz world, after I finished swinging, I would go into a break beat. I didn't even know who was on the records. I just saw them and how they jungled the records. So now, hip hop has like, yo, you know how to play that? How you know how to play that? Okay, come with us. You know what I'm saying? And then I figured out when I started seeing Scratch producing, Maceo producing, how they was taking the bars, where they was looking to loop the bars, I was like, man, and just getting that drum loop, that was the part that I was like, okay, that's all I need to learn. And that right there got me in the same. So when I got amongst brands, they was like, how you got so much feel and so much soul, but you don't have no chops? And I was like, I don't know. I wasn't influenced by drummers. and today, when I look on it, I'm happy I didn't, because for some reason, drummers are so competitive. Like, yo, look at how he does his snare, look at his fills and where he places them. I'm like, okay, but how does the record sound? Because at the end of the day, when I did my first album, they was like, Stix, this is your album, but I don't hear you on it. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, where's your drum fills? And when is the, I'm hearing the record, but I said, I wrote it. Everything you hear, I wrote. I don't want you to hear my drum fills. Because when you're in the car and like, you might do something different.
Yeah.
Rather than if you just in the car rolling and you turn that joint up, whatever you're doing, you drinking or something, you got your shorty in the car, you doing this. This is what I'm aiming for. I'm not trying to impress you with chops.
They want you to do a wild solo.
Yeah, on
go
the middle of a
crazy.
record. Like, come on. And when you look at those drummers, did you ever hear Ringo Starr do any wild drumming? Did you ever hear Khryst Love do any wild drumming? Just so the drummers, a lot of musicians make it competitive, and I'm like, what does the record feel like? What do the people who's listening feel like? Because at the end of the day, y'all don't buy records. So why am I trying to impress you with chops on my records?
Facts. That's a fact. That's a fact. 2014, a movie. You had to see this movie, Whiplash.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Because when I was before I even, that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Okay.
Like that movie. What was the dude that was in it? What was his name? Miles Teller. He played Andrew, and J.K. Simmons. He played as Terrence Fletcher. Y'all probably remember J.K. Simmons from. He was
in the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff. State Farm commercials, I think.
Yes, well, he wasn't. Yeah, he was like in Spider-Man. Yeah, he did.
His range is crazy.
Yeah,
but that movie right there is so inspiring to me, and I went to see it. I forgot who I saw it was, but they wasn't inspired like me. They was like, it was okay movie. We're like, okay. Like, do you see, like, even though I know it's loosely based off, it's not a true story, but they said it's loosely based off of certain characters.
Right.
But what he went through, the student, Andrew, the drummer, I don't want, for people that didn't see it, I don't want to tell y'all a story, but please, if you want to be inspired, because this is what this platform is about, one of the major things. We like to have people come up that we find interesting, that we find good energy, and that's inspiring to others.
Yeah.
Because there's probably a bunch of, not just drummers, musicians out there, that your story right now, everything that you said in this episode, gonna inspire the hell out of them. It inspired me, and I'm not a drummer, you know what I mean?
Wow.
But that movie, to me, was very inspiring.
Yeah.
Even though, like I said, it's a movie, so he was a little extra crazy with it, going hard as he did, the drummer. But it was all about, to me, what I got from that movie is you're striving to be great at the end of the day. Now, the teacher was a little excessive. He's a little extra with it. He was very extra with it. But he was trying to inspire all his students to be. What you thought about that movie, though? Just as drumming, like as a drummer and everything.
I knew that movie was special when my sister called me and said, I appreciate everything you do. Because she knew how hard I worked to try to get to do what I do well. Mm-hmm. But that movie, to me, showed me the life of the Jacksons with Joe Jackson. Showed me James Brown with the JBs. When you see the James Brown, how he kept them in rehearsal and deduct their money, because it's just another form of the whiplash. And then Whiplash, to me, showed me what mainly all the kids, all the students who's in college that really want this so bad, and you have that professor that's like, no matter how hard you practice, hands is bleeding, whatever, you still not good enough to get that chair. That was a real life moment, saying it's going to take, you can do whatever you can do, practice. You still might not be good enough to get that tour. Still might not, everything you do, you're trying to please me, you're trying to do it for me. But you might not be, according to me, you may not be good enough to get in that seat. It was inspiring. It was eye-opening to see how determined and dedicated. And then at the end of the day, at the end of the movie, where did he wind up? You know what I'm saying? He had to face that professor in the bar, you know, and be like, I did all of this for you, you know, you ungrateful old. Yeah. But what it did for me was, it made me think, like, don't you ever work that hard to please somebody for something that they don't own to give you.
He almost lost his life trying to please, yeah.
Trying to please him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, don't you ever do that. There is enough room in the ocean for everybody to swim. Just pick your pond, pick your area where you want to swim. And that's how I think of music now. After watching that movie, I thought of all the kids in Juilliard, I thought of all the kids that was in Purchase. I thought of all the kids that's in college trying to get a higher education to do this. And it's like, yo, you can't do it to please them. You got to do it to please you, and you got to swim with whatever you can. And that's what I got to say to anybody who's creative. If you're trying to do it to please others, so that because they're the ones who have the outlet to give you the job, and you can't do it for them, because you'll never be good enough to satisfy them.
That's a fact. Check out that movie, y'all. I don't know, Lace Glenn, I don't know if y'all ever saw the movie. Check out that movie. I promise you. Whiplash, that movie. Whenever it's on, I could watch it. Like, it's just inspiring. Besides the great acting and everything, it was just. I like what he told him in the movie. I forgot the guy he kept trying to.
The first shit, the dude that was in the first shit, the other drummer.
Nah, the guy that already made it, because he's like, what if he would have gave up after they threw something at his head, threw a symbol, whatever at his head, and the teacher told him, no, then he would have never gave up. That's not even an option, because he wanted it, like, we would never have a, I forgot what I think he's a real life drummer too, the one he kept referring to in the movie. But anyway, check out the movie, it's very inspiring, and they don't make a lot of drum movies, like besides that and Drumline, and this makes Drumline, like, no disrespect to Drumline, but Whiplash, Whiplash is that movie. Drumline was
like Sesame Street.
Yeah. Salute to Nick Cannon, but that was like, you know what I mean? That was like some Walt Disney, you know what I mean? But Whiplash, I'm telling y'all, that came out in 2014. I believe it won an Oscar, if I'm not mistaken. But that was a great movie. So we didn't get to find out where you from.
From Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, New York.
Yes, sir.
BK in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A lot of my guests been from Brooklyn. I'm thinking about that. Evil D, Chip Fu, Smooth the Hustler. Hey, Brooklyn, been heavy on the show. You know what I mean? I think who else we have from Brooklyn?
Brooklyn,
yeah, BK. A lot of talent come out of BK. A lot of gifted artists. New York, period. But a lot of talent come out of BK. Yeah, man. So what do you got coming next? Like, what do you got like lined up next for Bone Squad or yourself that we can look forward to?
So I'm trying to develop this series called Grooving and Laughing, where back in the day there used to be where you would hear the band and then you would see a comedian, right? So I'm working on something like that with some dope promoters to bring that to the city, New York City, where you can sit down, have a nice dinner, and enjoy good talent again. You know, nobody's gonna make you exercise and nothing like that. You're gonna get your laugh on and you get your groove on while you sitting down eating dinner. And then we have an incredible show to get the call to work with the God MC, Rakim. You know, that's gonna be so special. We'll be up in Hartford, Connecticut, returning back to Hartford, Connecticut, to join him on stage. We're gonna open up, the Bone Squad is gonna open up for him, and then we're gonna join him on stage to play his hits unplugged.
Oh wow!
So I'm working on arrangements on what that's going to be like, you know. Wow. So it's going to be really. I want to have a lot of fun because I want it to be in a rare form that y'all haven't seen Rakim. You know what I'm saying? He's already a dope MC, but I want this experience to be for his audience to see him in this year, as he's already performing already. He's already out there. Salute to his team. They're working and keeping him working. But when we connect, I want that experience for the audience to be mesmerizing.
Please keep me informed.
Yes, sir.
I gotta be, the Rich Genius Show gotta be in the building for that. I have to witness that. I mean,
that's
I have to witness that greatness.
Special to rock out with him, man. So we're really planning on bringing to the table more music for the DJ. You know, for y'all to sample, chop up. You gotta pay the clearance though, right? I got family. You know, y'all ain't gonna be sampling me for free, but I'm working on some more breakbeat stuff to bring to the table to keep feeding that element of music. And then I'm looking to drop another Stix Bones album in the midst too, if I can squeeze it in, because I'm working kind of like, I want to really focus on my handwriting. I'm always challenging myself to write, you know, something just as good as I did in the previous records. I feel that you need to keep feeding good music. It's easy to get lost in the noise. So that's the biggest thing for me. It's like, yo, all right, this is what you wrote for the Soul record. What else do you have to say? So that these people who would enjoy that. And it's a two-edged sword, because it's for the jazz audience to sit down and enjoy as they're conversing with their family or friends, but it's also for the DJ to utilize as tools as they're creating. And I love what I hear, that our MCs are back and releasing Ghostface, crazy album. De La Soul, crazy album. LL, crazy album. MC Light, Eric Sermon, like they're coming with this, like Nas, like
Mobb Deep album, everybody back. They said Trench got an album coming, Ice-T got an album coming. Like the OGs is back, you know what I mean? And I love it.
I'm so
because I always felt it was always a lane there. No matter what the people say or the narrative they tried to push is a young man's sport. You can't be this old still making music and hip hop. Like I said, we the only genre that say that nonsense, which is stupid. Because rock and roll, pop, they could be whatever age, making new music. Performing, touring, and everything, but for whatever reason,
70s and
hip hop, Cher could put out a new album and nobody gonna be like, yo, you're too old to do that.
Exactly.
But for whatever reason, they tried to push that. But I'm so glad with what Nas did with Master Pill, what Clips did, because they older artists too.
Yes.
So we still got a voice and we still got a sound. Like, you know what I mean? Like I always say, you can't put age on quality. Because there's some older ones that they need to stop maybe, and then but there's some younger ones that need to stop too. So it ain't about an age thing. It's about if quality, if it's good, it's good.
Right.
If it's good, it's good.
Right.
You can't say, oh, he's 45. How he can't be making records now? Why not?
Yeah.
Tell me why.
You're more knowledgeable now.
Yeah, you traveled the world. You live.
Yeah.
You should have more to talk about, and you know, be more versatile with it. But I'm looking forward to the Trench, the Ice-T. I'm looking forward to all that.
So
I'm on deck for this.
That's what I'm. And you too.
We got some stuff. Salute the Tall Genius.
Yeah.
Salute the J Lace.
Yeah.
We got the studio downstairs. Now I mean, we working on. We gotta eat. We got some stuff coming. Tall Genius, Rich Notch. Y'all already know. You know what I mean?
And I'm gonna bless y'all with some drums, so y'all can get your boom bap on.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. We definitely need some live drums.
Yes, sir, man.
Yo, man, I love it, man. So let them know all your platforms where they could catch y'all at.
Man,
Catch you at.
You can catch me at Stix Bones at everything. Real talk. The Bone Squad has a Facebook page. For those of you who still indulge in that, follow me. We put more information on the Bone Squad Facebook page than my Stix Bones page. Okay. Stix Bones is just the family and friends and everybody, but the Bone Squad, when you want to see the work, the Bone Squad page on Facebook is there, and it's just like that. BONE Squad. Right? Stix Bones on Instagram, and that's really the
YouTube, a bunch of videos too on YouTube.
Yeah. We have the Bone Squad Playhouse page on YouTube where some of the live performance we share with y'all on that factor. So those are the main 3 platforms. I'm not doing all 20. They don't pay me enough to do all 20. But if you really want to get to us, go to boneentertainment.com, and that will take you any and everywhere you want to go. Boneentertainment.com, all no spaces, just boneentertainment.com, and that will take you with everything I'm doing, all the press, all the shows, the EPK, what the merch we have. Boneentertainment.com is all you need to do.
Love it, I love it. So yo, this has been another great episode. Thank you, brother, for pulling up. Y'all be. Stix Bones in the building.
Yes.
The Rich Genius Show, Cam Time Studios, Cam Time NYC. Y'all already know where we at. One of the most official studios out here in New York. We doing our thing. Dope guests. We gonna keep the dope guests coming. Nah, it's been a great conversation. I mean, and like I said, for all y'all that never saw a live band perform, definitely check this brother out. Him and Bone Squad. Check out Stix. Pull up to wherever they at if you could, and you will not be disappointed. You know what I mean? We co-signing this. The Rich Genius Show is co-signing this. And thanks for coming, brother. And we out until next time. Peace.
That Rich Genius effect.
I already know.
Yeah. This that Rich Genius effect.
Favorite podcaster / rapper. And your favorite producer. Tall Genius. Let me talk to them, man. Let me talk. Yo, these niggas in the game is a joke to me. They